I think so, yes. But I mean, Barbados has been independent for 55 years, although the Queen was still head of state. And do you remember those photographs of Prince Harry going there? That was the 50th anniversary of Bajan independence. And he was there with Rihanna, the singer, who is actually probably one of their most famous exports. So there's been a very good relationship with Barbados, despite the history which has tainted it, especially now, because it was the center of slavery, because there were these huge sugar plantations there. And Barbados was the first island sort of en route from West Africa. It was the first landfall. So that's where a lot of the slaves ended up in dire conditions. And, it has tainted the history, which is one of the reasons that I feel that it is right for them to break from the crown now.
Why do you think had those words, sort of recognising the history?
Well, I think it's because in this current climate, everyone is talking about slavery and talking about being ashamed of some of our past history, and we have to acknowledge that. And it was the British, and the slave owners were pretty brutal. I mean, the whole island then, the economy was sugar and rum, obviously. I'm sure you've been there. And it was completely staffed by slaves. And I think we are ashamed of that history, as Prince Charles pointed out last night.
What will this mean for other countries? How many other countries are there that are in a similar position with the Queen as the head of state, who may be thinking now is time to move on?
Well, I think that's quite possible. But I think the Queen is utterly happy about that situation. She's sad, but she is not upset. She understands that it is time to move on. And if people want to break and make themselves free from the crown and have a president, which they have now, they have Sandra Mason, who is a very, very popular. But the sad thing, I think, is it wasn't a vote by the people. It was a vote by the government. So the people of Barbados, they love the Queen. And it used to be called Little England. The island is very English in its way. But it wasn't a referendum like we had here. It was a decision by the government. But it probably is time, and it's a way forward.
How do you see the Commonwealth in the next few years?
It's difficult to say. But I think the Commonwealth is right behind the Prince of Wales. But certainly nothing will change as long as the Queen is still with us. The Commonwealth will remain exactly as it is. And they have said that when she goes, they will be behind her son.
We saw in Prince Charles a dignified speech. There is a real sense of the future of the monarchy coming through now, isn't there?
Yes, I think Prince Charles feels that he's absolutely got to be taken seriously. He is very, very good at giving speeches and lectures, and he gives speeches all the time. And he is the right man for the job. Of that, I'm absolutely certain. And he works very, very hard. And, this is literally a whistle-stop tour. I mean, he comes back tonight and then gets on with his normal life. So he's putting a lot of work into a very short space of time.